Welcome to Blue Monday from the Blue Room with me, Les and Dave, and brought to you in conjunction with the Invisible Wind Factory. So, if you don't know it, it's the first venue on the right as you head to the new ground from town, just on the corner of Regent Street and Regent Road. Bank holiday Sunday sees Invisible Wind Factory back for pre and post-match entertainment, food and drink. We've got home-baked pies, Scouse pierogi. I've probably butchered the pronunciation of that, but basically it's like dumplings. Plenty of pints and a live band to take you into the evening because it is bank holiday after all. Probably the best thing about us playing on Sunday, that isn't it, Dave? That it is a bank holiday Sunday, so
yeah, you've got every reason to stay out then, haven't you, after games and all that? So take advantage of it there because we've been over, haven't we? And it's going to be an amazing thing for fans to go to. Before and after the games, it's a massive space, so like there'll be like a decent atmosphere there as well.
Yeah, I've been to gigs in there. It's a cracking venue. Like, it's a good venue for gigs and club nights. But yeah, I reckon they'll do a belter job of pre and post match there as well. Right, what have we got this week then? So we're going to be looking at the opening weekend results so far, Everton's transfer business up to now, and then we're going to have a look ahead to tonight's match at Leeds. Before we kick off, though, the usual bit of housekeeping. If you're watching on YouTube, please do give us a like, subscribe, and a comment. If you're listening on the pod, please do leave us a rating and a review. And if you're a Patreon subscriber, we'll be putting every podcast on the platform this season to make things a bit easier for you. If you're not a patron, you can sign up at patreon.com/BlueRoomExtra. Extra for about £5 a month. You'll get the usual podcasts, advert-free, and some extra ones each week as well. Right, with that out the way, Dave, the weekend's results, the Toffees are the last game of the weekend. It's been a bit excruciating just watching all these games and having to wait till Monday night for ours, but now it's here. What did you make of the results of the weekend? Any surprises for you?
I think that Sunderland game, I felt it's interesting actually because I felt like this had happened because I think West Ham are onto an absolute stinker there with Graham Potter, whose managerial career and his reputation have just gone down the drain, haven't he, since all the stuff that went on. I mean, didn't blame him going to Chelsea at that point because you want to, if you're a young manager, aren't you? You're stepping up to a side that's challenging for European places and challenging in Europe itself. So, I mean, he's fallen away, hasn't he? And West Ham, Sunderland with about 25 new players as well. I was surprised by that. To the extent in which he went and won that on the first day. No idea who the manager is, by the way, so he'll have to excuse me if he's listening to it. But they seemed all right. I'm just trying to think of the other results as well. The United Arsenal game I thought was really interesting. I think more for the connoisseur of watching games and seeing how they pan out, as opposed to that's a really good game, because it wasn't the greatest if you're watching for a load of entertainment, but Arsenal looked the real deal in terms of they went 1-0 up. United probably should have equalised. It probably should have finished the draw. But Arsenal really able to manage it. And I know Raya was great in goal for them, made a couple of crucial saves. But there was a bit of steel about Arsenal there, which I think Arteta will be delighted with, because that seems what they lacked in the last few seasons when they've been second best to Liverpool or City. So
just on that one, just on Amorim, he's got a bit of an unwelcome stat come his way, hasn't he? So I think he's got to 15 defeats more quickly than any manager who has. It's a bit convoluted, but more quickly than any manager who hasn't come up with a promoted side. So of an established Premier League club, he's got to 15 defeats quicker than anyone. I think it's 15. I
think he's got. Well, no, but I think he's got the most mitigating circumstances than everyone that's ever been at United as well, to be honest with you. I mean, I know it's been a basket case since Moyes went there, so you're looking well over a decade you've been like that.
Yeah.
I mean, to go against him, no, I mean, I've no idea how Casemiro gets a game there now, because he just looks like a ghost of what he used to be. I was talking to a few people on Twitter about this. It's just like he doesn't do anything. He offers nothing. But yet he's there starting midfielder alongside Fernandes, who's obviously Fernandes is the glue for them. He's their talisman, and even he was off the boil as well. You don't start your brand new striker who everyone's buzzing to see. Mbeumo was looking half decent at times, but yeah, there was nothing to write home about there with Man United. So I think their fans will be concerned about that. Other results as well. City were excellent against Wolves, but Wolves look like they'll be in the shit this year. Liverpool, I mean, I thought Bournemouth were great, to be honest. deserve the point.
surprised at how good Bournemouth were, because I thought they might drop off a bit this season after selling like a load of good players. But I mean, they got beat 4-2, but they got off to a decent start, really, didn't they? Because they were pretty good, and it was 2 very late goals that won it.
Yeah, and Smale as well. He was really, especially given the racism, he was excellent. Because when we've seen those horrible events happen before, I'm thinking back to, I think it happened with Samuel Eto'o, where might have been when he was at Barcelona, where that happened, and he went crazy and wants to walk off the pitch, and the referee was running over to him, begging him to stay on. Don't need that sort of stuff, mate. I mean, it was vile, and you can see like the angle. Obviously don't want to talk about it too much, but I suppose it's good to talk about it anyway and put that awareness out there. When that lad sort of like he goes over to him in his wheelchair and just is irate, just will not stop. You're like, what's going on here? He's just taking the throw in. And fair play to him, because he just remained calm. He probably wasn't calm internally, but he just remained like that, taking that throw in. I mean, I tell you what, he's a I don't know what the word is. He's more of a man than I am, really, because I would have gone ballistic if that happened to me. So credit to him. But yeah, I mean, to start on the opening day of the season as well, where the world's watching, it's just horrible, isn't it? It's just like people. I'd turn, if I wasn't, we weren't football fans as we are, or someone was like a half-ass fan, you turn it off straight away. It's just horrible people who do that sort of thing. But yeah, that win itself, 4-2, expected them to win. No surprise there. And then it was interesting, Brighton at home to Fulham as well. I don't know if you see Marco Silva's celebration at the end.
Oh God, yeah.
One of the best things I've ever seen. He's always been the most timid, nice fella. And like it just like that was it. Now I'm coming out of my shell. It's like we've been watching for years for him to just go nuts.
I reckon that's because the Brighton manager is that annoying. I think we spoke about this on Mailbag, didn't we?
Jim Carrey on
our prediction show. Yeah. So I think it's that. Just on that as well, we did our prediction show on Thursday night last week. It went out on Friday. But fair play to everyone. I think we had Brentford, West Ham, Wolves, all in the relegation mix out of the not newly promoted clubs. And of the newly promoted ones, no one said Sunderland, I don't think. I think we all said Burnley. And we see what happens at Leeds tonight, obviously. But it looks like, it's very early evidence, 31 game. It does look like they could be the teams that struggle if they sort of, keep the current managership teams in place.
Brentford, to me, I've just, Thomas Frank leaving there, it's just like almost, Steve, just give up. It just feels like that. You go and put the first thing you do when you've lost a manager like that is go and get the best one. It's not rocket science. You go and get the best one you possibly can. And they've just turned to Keith Andrews, with all due respect to him. He's not a Premier League manager. It's almost like it's a caretaker manager sort of thing, but he's not a caretaker manager.
Like. Yeah.
I don't know who was on our show last week. Who I think it might have been John Wharton, who said that it reminds him of when Paul Lynch took over at Blackburn. And obviously Blackburn, we're going to say, it might have been just before the Venky's crazy stuff happened, but he started, I think they beat us on the opening day. It might have been Liam who said that they beat us on the opening day of the season. It was his debut in the Premier League as a manager. And then you're thinking, what's going to happen here? And then typically, I think we were the only side that he beat before he went and got sacked. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's a strange one that I think we've seen clubs go down that road for a long time. It was ourselves there. I mean, it potentially, I think maybe David Unsworth was maybe a win or two away from being given the full-time gig. And you start thinking that's just so naive. So yeah, Brentford just look like they're nailed on there. They're there for the taking by everybody else. I think you listen to their fans as well. They're sort of talking the same thing, where they've been on this really good adventure since they came up. Thomas Frank's just done the whole thing. Not often you see it either, Les, is it, when you've got a manager that controls the lot, and he did.
And the way he was promoted to the job as well. He was just promoted internally, wasn't he? So it wasn't like he came and got him from like an established European club, like a lot of teams do. He was just promoted from within and did a great job. And I think I said on Mailbag as well, it feels a bit like when Kerbishley left Charlton. It was like that was kind of the end of him as a Premier League club.
Is that Les Reed after him?
Probably was.
It was. I think it was Les Reed who came.
There's no good managers called Les. Yeah.
Didn't he like ran the FA or something as well? Didn't he? I think that was his credentials of taking over there.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. He did. He's right up with the FA or something like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
you're right there. I haven't said that point there about Brentford. They're probably trying to do that same and repeat it with Keith Andrews. I mean, good luck to the fella, but it didn't have that right feeling about them in that game.
no. And Palace probably happy with a 0-0 draw away at Chelsea on the opening day. But Christ, I feel like they got had off there because I've never seen that rule. Didn't even know it was a rule, and it's not been enforced since 2019.
Is that how long it's 6 years
Yeah,
since it's happened?
been
Yeah.
since 2019. It's not been enforced once. And there's a lot of people pointed out on Twitter yesterday. It probably should have ruled out Fernandez's goal against Everton last season because their players were so close to our wall.
They have an influence.
Yeah. It's been happening every week. No, I don't think anyone was aware of the rule. Just really, really strange.
And credit to Palace as well, because you think if you miss opportunities like that, it typically means that the opposition go and win the game. And you're playing against a side that I think a couple of our contributors last week were saying Chelsea will be up there. I don't know. I haven't seen a great amount from them, even though they were really good last season. They sort of started to become a bit of a juggernaut at certain points. I like Maresca as well, but he's got too many players. It's like something you watch there and you think that's gone wrong. Someone's played poorly. Immediately get someone else in and move them out. You're like, it's not going to help anybody, is it? You know what I mean? Like having that much of an influence on what players you pick, you can instantly change it. It literally is like a Football Manager.
Yeah, this is
what
I don't get about Chelsea. They have always had the weirdest football model of any club, and they've won everything in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So, like, Abramovich would just bounce from manager to manager to manager, like every 2 seasons. But they'd still have the continuity of generally being up there and winning stuff, and they're still doing it. And it's mad. I just don't understand it.
It seems to have gone even further in terms of what they've done, because when he first came in, I think it's pretty obvious you're going to get a billionaire in 2004 that we've not really seen in the Premier League, and he's got on board a load of players. Then it literally is the case of throw to the wall and see what sticks. I get that, but he just carried on doing it, and then he turned to doing the same thing with managers, and it worked for them though. I don't think it's that climate these days, is it, that you're able to do that sort of thing, given the cities and Liverpool's the way they are right now, with a continuous structure of what they've got. Particularly, I mean, I always bang on about it and get kicked off about it, but with Liverpool's recruitment, and City are able to do, well, seemingly what they like these days with that bloody Hayden's going about 4 years now, hasn't it? And they looked impressive against Wolves, but like you say, Wolves are another side that look like they're going to be down there as well. So there wasn't anything massively surprising.
No.
Hope we're able to still say the same tonight, because I think Everton. I keep on changing my mind. Everton should go and win this tonight. They should go and win it, because there's plenty of complaints. Talking to a Leeds fan the other day, they're not happy given how the summer's gone for them. Lack of recruitment. They're all delighted with Calvert-Lewin, probably rightly so. I know a lot of our fans are going laughing, saying, "Oh, he's no good. He's not going to play." The lad's got a chance now, though. Maybe grab it and go to take it.
Do you know what? Seeing all that online, having a go at Calvert-Lewin, it's like, can you not wait until he played us? Have you never met Everton before? Do you not know how this usually pans out?
That's spot on. Yeah.
Just a quick one on City Wolves as well. James Trafford keeps a clean sheet, and already the calls are for him to be the England goalie. I don't know if he's any good. I just remember him getting bullied every week when he was at Burnley last time he was in the Premier League. Didn't look anywhere near a Premier League goalie, never mind an England international. But it's tiring, isn't it? It's a lot of people on Twitter have picked up about this narrative that Jordan Pickford's never let England down, and it's like, well, it's a bit more than that. He's probably excelled more than any player in that squad to give them the relative success these England teams have had. I'm talking like penalty saves, great saves, penalty shootout saves where he probably should have won a trophy, but the strikers ballsed it up. It's just this, he's never let England down. It's tiring, isn't it? Because he's better than that. He doesn't let Everton down, and he excels at Everton. And I was watching some of his saves last night, and it's just the crucial saves he's made. It can't be just underestimated. I know we've talked about it a lot, but he's just been key to Everton's survival. So the fact that the second another keeper comes along, that he's touted for England, we won't go into it too much, but it's just annoying and tiring, isn't it?
Yeah, I like the way he's kept his counsel with all this, to be honest with you. Maybe internally he goes home and starts like kicking off and as a punch bag at home that he starts hitting because he's so pissed off with all the media and all the crap gets thrown his way by somebody who's had a half decent game. You think, yeah, look at Ramsdale, all of that, I think he had that game or two, didn't he? And Henderson as well, people are saying. Immediately when they make a good save, it's like it's that they're on that much of a fine line between, oh, he had a really good performance. Yeah, no one's begrudging a good England goalkeeper having a really good performance and winning the side of the game. But you're talking about a lad here who's nearly, it's almost, he gets his testimonial next year, isn't it? Was it year after?
2017, I think it was,
yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah,
so in 2 years away from getting his testimonial. Again, I reiterate how he's still at Everton. I've no idea.
When you look at like Chelsea and United still need goalies.
Yeah, he didn't look great either for United. Chelsea just seem to just get shit goalkeepers for the laugh.
Yeah.
when you've got the most consistent one. So I don't know. I think it might be a strange thing to say, Les, but I'm sort of from that point of view, I'm happy with the narrative that people in the media and
that's a fair show.
Whatever you want to call it, that are saying that they don't want him to play because he's not good enough to be the England goalkeeper. Keep saying it because I think if he weren't getting a game as well, I think I'd be concerned. I'd be concerned that he left if he didn't get playing as the England number one, because then that's when it comes to this is probably to do with me being in a club that's been in the mire for quite some time.
Yeah,
hopefully we're past that. But given the fact that fans and the media as well, you get many pundits saying they don't think he's good enough for it. Crack on with that. Keep doing it because he keeps defying that with us. And it's an extreme as well, Les. I don't get it. Like, you can have a general opinion on a player because you can be justified on the performances. What's he done that makes anyone say it? It's just it is bizarre, but yeah, I'm fine with it. Keep going.
Yeah. Just on that then, on goalies, we'll move on to the next part of the show, talking about Everton summer. So weirdly, we've signed 2 keepers. We're going to pack that bench with goalies next season, aren't we? So we've just signed Tom King from Wolves, I think. And obviously we got Travers from Bournemouth. So that's 2 keepers in, which seems a bit needless. But anyway, we've also signed, obviously, Alcaraz as new, Dewsbury Hall, Barry and Grealish. All summer, we were sort of going, it's not good enough, this, not good enough. It's not been a bad window, but for me, there's just still massive holes in the squad.
Well, Moyes was still saying it in his press conference, saying that, we've signed decent, pretty much what you've said there, not verbatim, but he was saying, we've signed some good players, but I'd like more. I think he's sort of biting his lip there, because I think he's still, internally, he's probably quite angry still about this and how the club have just going at a snail's pace to get players in. I've noticed now with a lot of people saying, well, oh, look at them. They've got, I think a lot there saying, look who's Sunderland. Sunderland today have gone and bought another player from Europe. I was saying, yeah, that's great. And it's a decent point to make, but Sunderland are shopping in a different market than us. Well, at least I'd like to think so. Because if we're going in for the same player as Sunderland, and Sunderland are getting that player, then there's clearly big problems, isn't there? But that's obviously not the case. And just went to the point on Tom King as well. He's one of the nicest people you could meet, because I did quite a bit of work with him last couple of years, and he's a massive laugh. He's that kind of player who'll have an influence in and around everybody. Sort of, he's quite a big character. I was messaging him the other day and like, he can't wait. He's made up to get there, because I know obviously he was at Wolves, but he was talking about the stadium and things, and I'm made up for him, genuinely made up. Be interesting if he's the reserve keeper, or he is the third choice just to sit on the bench. But I think he's got more of an ambition there, because he's played for his country as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a bit of an odd one, isn't it? Because we've got 3 experienced goalies now. Normally you'd have 2. One's a young keeper, one's maybe a bit older, does the coaching like we used to have with Begovic. But yeah, 3 keepers of good Premier League age and quality seems a bit much, but we'll see what they do with it anyway.
Because I think that points to everybody that it pisses them off that we've got 2 keepers on the bench because we haven't got a big enough squad, and I think that just the way you look at it when you're looking at the lineup that gets announced and you see 2 keepers on the bench, you're like, why haven't we got these other? Why haven't we got other players? This is going to be one keeper on the bench. I mean, and I do think that's right. I think people criticising that it is spot on. So if we finish August and we've still got 2 goalkeepers on the bench, then I think that speaks volumes, doesn't it, on what we haven't done.
Yeah, and the thing with that is as well, even if you've got like a small squad and you haven't really got enough to fill your bench, it feels like that would be better given to a young player to give them experience of being in and around the first team squad, being on the first team bench. They might not get on, but it gives them that sort of big match day experience with the first team, which seems like it'd be a better use of like an extra place, because you'd have to be really unlucky to have to use 2 keepers in a game, let alone 3.
Yeah.
So, I think the Grealish transfer obviously changed the whole complexion of the window for me. I know he was like, it was touted very, very early on, and it was sort of like it lost a bit of momentum, then just suddenly picked up when he was signed. That did change the whole complex. And going forward now, we obviously don't know what Beto's going to be like. We don't know what Barry's going to be like. If we go on Beto's end of season last year, he was very good, scored a lot of goals. Barry against Roma, I thought was very good, looks a different player. He pulls out wide a lot and likes to cut in. So we've got good options up front. It's the players behind now that look really exciting now, isn't it? With Dewsbury Hall, Grealish, and Dye, got Alcaraz there. McNeil, he seems to be sort of left out in the cold for many. But I've said before, he's a strange player whereby he looks really slow. He can not be having a great game, but then he can set 2 up and score something and just do that from nowhere. So there's a lot of options up front. Midfield possibly still a bit light, but it's that right hand side for me again. The right hand side of the defence really, because not having a right back for about the 15th window in succession seems a bit mad. We'll move on to Leeds soon, but I know we do this all the time, but I honestly think we probably should look at James Garner as an option, especially if Branthwaite's out. To move O'Brien into the centre with Tarkowski maybe and see James Garner on the right, because he can play there.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? What we've gone and done and got kept Keane there. And I'd like to think he obviously is the 4th choice centre back, but the mitigating circumstances now is if Moyes decides to opt for O'Brien going to right back, then our 4th choice centre back is going to be the one that comes in.
Yeah,
and it's the old-fashioned Burnley duo, the Burnley superstars, isn't it? If it's Tarkowski and Keane back there, so Sean Dye should be cheering on with a little flag when he's watching his telly tonight. But yeah, I think the right call is to put Garner to right back, because by and large he's done okay when he's had to play there. Look, I guess the bar wasn't put there too high. With all due respect to Seamus, he's a bit part player now, and was for the last season. And then Ashley Young as well. I mean, I think he ended his Everton career with glory, really, didn't he? Because everyone generally wasn't too upset with him being an Everton player in the 40s. I think it was more to do with his age being at right back than his actual performances in the end, which were fine.
I mean, I think that like at first he struggled, didn't he? And he was getting played way too much. But he just seemed like a great fella, and he did. When he was playing that sort of not starting role, he was sound. Although he did start against Newcastle. Just looking at that, we'll go on to it in a second. I'm just looking at the Newcastle team. We could probably line up with that team tonight, almost. But go on.
Well, that screams to everybody fuming about the lack of transfers. I think all of us are in that same, in that same boat, aren't they? But yeah, I mean, I think James Garner's lesser of 2 evils. Is that harsh to put it that way? To either have O'Brien at centre back and you put Garner to right back. I think that you probably should do that rather than have Keane in there. And we've been ripped apart. I know Rob Vieira's probably turned it off and probably spit all over whatever device he's watching us with here. But Keane's going to be utilised this season. I think that's the reason Moyes has got him. He's not just done it because he's a nice guy and wants to help him out and he needs the money. Obviously, he's kept him on for needing him. Is tonight the time where you need him? I don't think we're quite at that extent yet. And by that I mean I put Garner right back and I'd have O'Brien next to Tarkowski. And I think it's big for O'Brien as well, because he hasn't signed for us to play right back as good as he's been when he's been in that area. He's a centre back.
Yeah.
So he'll be relishing this if he gets his chances as a centre back in the Premier League. situations like this tend to happen, don't they? With Branthwaite, they almost happen by accident. So I hope Moyes puts him next to Tarkowski there. I think you're looking at somebody who's a lot quicker than Keane. I think that the physicality that he's got is better than Keane. Because let's face it, Keane's on the downward trajectory. Some might say he's already at the bottom of the battle, but he's on the downward trajectory of his career as a professional footballer. So O'Brien's the option that you put in. I think not only for the fact that he's a better player, but also you're getting him to relish an opportunity. He's got sort of needs to get what he's able to do, and put that right in front of the manager's face and say, listen, I want to be one of the main two that you're going to pick every single week. And he put himself in contention for that, rather than saying, oh, I'm only going to get a game at right back.
Yeah.
And like I say, going back to Garner's done fine when he's been in that position. So if that's the way we start tonight, then I'm more than happy with that.
And he can hit a decent cross. It'd be nice to have a right back who can hit a decent crossing, which is what.
Yeah, and I think as well to go, it does go against him a bit, but I think a lot of people might agree with me, thinking that if he's playing at right back, it means he doesn't play midfield.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It means it takes that issue away if we have to start him in the middle of the park. So we'll see, won't we? But yeah, I think that's the play I'll go with.
Yeah, I mean, I'd sooner see that. I mean, just on Jake O'Brien as well, it's kind of, we do have to start planning ahead for Tarkowski finishing now. He's had a couple of injury problems to start and the end of last season, which he's never had during his career. He was like, he played every game for every club he's ever played for. So when that starts to happen, players the other side of 30, it is time to definitely start thinking, right, we need to plan ahead for this. I've said all summer as well, same with Garner. We need Garner Gay. We need to start planning for his eventual leaving the club, because he can't go on like that forever. Just on the Leeds game, so I'm a bit like you. I'm dead wary about this game purely because it's a Monday night at their ground. They've just been promoted as champions. It's going to be like, it's going to be bouncing there, isn't it? And I think Everton are going to have to sort of overcome at least a first 20-minute barrage, I would imagine, because they'll probably be well up with the crowd, certainly will be. But it is Leeds. And we know that gulf between the champ and the Prem is a lot. Even when a team comes up as champions, they struggle to stay up, as they have done the last two seasons, obviously. And when you look at the team we could put out, even if we don't play any of the new players to start, that team, aside from Jack Harrison, obviously, that team went to Newcastle and bossed it and won 1-0. So that was Garner in the middle. Young was right back, Mikalenko was left back, Keane and O'Brien were centre backs in that game. Keane had a really good game, to be fair. And Alcaraz, Harrison, and Beto. So you take Ashley Young, Mikalenko, and Jack Harrison out of that, replace him with whoever. There's no reason why we can't go there and do the same as we did at Newcastle.
No, there's not, and I think I have been cautious of it, given the fact that it is going to be all over the place in terms of fans bouncing around and all that at Ellen Road. But I mean, they're there for the taking, and I think that it'll be a decent measure of where we're at. I think, even though it's the opening day of the season, I think I'd like to see what sort of mentality Moyes has got these lads set up in. I know pre-season we've had a bog standard, Everton standard pre-season, haven't we? With looking like generally crap, and obviously not many people pay attention to the results as well. But I think I'd like to think they're all going into this with a bit of confidence. I think, again, with Moyes, a frustrated start. So who knows, that works well for him in terms of drilling these players in and saying, look, lads, you are literally fighting for your places now, because we've still got 2 weeks left on a window. And I'm running around like a headless chicken trying to sign more players. If I get them in, then you're second. So show me that I don't necessarily have to do something with that position. And if I do, you're going to be the person that's going to be battling for that. So I hope that's the case, and that's the feeling around the squad. It's interesting on the Leeds side of it as well. I was editing Scott Parker's interview after they got battered at Tottenham, and he was talking about the step up from the Championship to the Premier League has never been wider, which I think we'd all agree with that. It's been the biggest gap that there's ever been.
Yeah.
Not only with the teams that have come up have always gone back down in the last couple of years, like you say, but also the way in which they play and operate themselves. And you can see like physical gaps between these sides. And the really good point he made there, that's sticking in my mind, is a second in the Championship is like a mini second in the Premier League. And I think that was a really good way of putting it. He was saying, like, when your players that you've brought up are on the ball, you'll get generally the teams in the Championship are looking for a physical battle. So it's a completely different mentality you've got there to coming in here. And he said it's a difficult balance to play with, because if we go up, obviously you've gone up as a successful Championship side. So then I think naturally in your mind, you're thinking, I don't have to change anything because we've been really good. Then you play a Premier League game, you think, yeah, we're miles away from this. We're so undercooked, even though I've got a squad that's had a decent success. And it actually made me change my mind a little bit, because what he was saying after it was really thoughtful, and it looks like he'll try and get that fixed. Whether they do or they don't, they probably won't. They probably go down. But for what he said there, I think that's really accurate. I think you've got a team that you need to go at 110 miles an hour as soon as you possibly can. And in turn, Les, like you say, you dumb down the crowd, the noise. You get down there, you go and you take possession, and I know it's something that we're not great at, is having more possession than the opponents. But I hope Moyes is approaching this thinking we're keeping the ball more than them. Yeah. I want to compete in keeping the ball, knocking it round, just trying to dumb down everything that's going on in that game. Of course, you go and score first, then I'd like to think that we go on and win that. I know they're going to be throwing all sorts at us, the physical battle. It's Ellen Road as well. I mean, it's a hard place to go to, whatever level Leeds are at when they were in League One. It's hard to go to because of the atmosphere you get. But I get into going off on a bit of a tangent here, Les, but I get into that frame of mind where, why is it going away more difficult than playing at home? And it's just because of the fans, just because of fans. So if you're a professional footballer, I'd relish going to this just as much as I would relish in that game against Brighton. Start of the league, you're going somewhere that you probably want to do them because they're shouting all sorts of shit at you. You want to quieten them down. You want to prove that you're decent to go for a scrap. It's something that we should be relishing going to this tonight. Whether that ends up being the case or not. Look, we're Evertonians. It's the start of the season. We're playing away at Leeds. We probably want to choose many more teams to play on the opener than them. But, it's going to be really interesting to see how Moyes has got these drilled in, regardless of the recruitment we've got, and regardless of what 11 he goes with.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point you make about teams having to change the style, because I think we saw it with Ipswich, didn't we? And, they played lovely free-flowing football in the Champ, and everyone was like, we're not going to be able to do that in the Premier League. And ultimately, they couldn't. But you can't underestimate how difficult it is if you play the season playing one way to just say, right, forget all that, we're going to do this now in a summer. That's really difficult. Unless you start then changing the players you've got to accommodate that different system. It's a really hard task. And it will be interesting to see how both Leeds and Everton approach this tonight.
I think it's really naive, Les. I think it's naive if you're it's naive if you're a manager and you don't make those changes coming into the Premier League.
You've got to. It is difficult though.
Yeah, I get that you're going to feel. I mean, they've got a manager that's been there and done it. So I've said I think Leeds will be a side that stays up from the three that have came up, because I think he's well versed in all of this with what happened at Norwich. But when they're coming into this, I don't think he'd be as silly or as naive, thinking that we'll just go with the side that we brought up because we came up in such a successful way from the Championship to this. Then we crack on like that, then we'll be absolutely fine. Well, I don't think there's three sides that are worse or they're better than three sides, so to say, coming up to that league, despite the fact they'll still be strugglers, like we mentioned with Brentford, like we mentioned with Wolves. With them coming in, they're still going to have to scrap in a certain way. I mean, I don't know if you've watched any. I watch the Championship a lot. I like watching it. I think it's entertaining when you watch the Championship, because all sorts of results can happen. You see some great games, and you always see somebody like, I want Coventry to come up. I badly want Coventry to come up. Not just because I have any particular. Yeah, but well, I don't have any allegiance to Coventry. I just want to see a different side come back up. I want to see that sort of thing happen. Much the same I wanted to see them to go on and get to the World Cup, the FA Cup, and win it last year.
One of my favourite ever stats was that one from last season about the Championship, that the only team with about 5 games left guaranteed to play in the Champ was Southampton, because they've been relegated from the Premier League. Every team in the Champ could have either got the playoffs or got relegated.
I didn't know that. That is incredible. Over
With
24
about 5
sides.
games to go, it was nuts. Yeah, it was mad.
So I mean, that's why tonight I'm expecting something different from Farker, who comes back up. The others, it is based on what squad you've got to use. And again, like I've spoken to many Leeds fans, they need other players. They're really excited about Calvert-Lewin, which they will do. He's still a Premier League striker, as much as everybody will rip him apart, us included, with saying he's been crap for years and he very rarely is fit to play. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes there, plays every game of the season and scores 10 goals. It's more than it's well within how he can play and how good he can be. We know that, we've seen that. It's the fitness side that ultimately I think made the decision why we wanted to get rid of him more so than he might have even wanted to stay.
I was speaking to a Leeds fan in work about this because he was sort of asking about him. I said, in terms of injury, he's actually just dead unlucky, because it's not like a recurring injury in like his knee or something. It's something different every time.
Yeah.
And it was like Aston Villa when he broke his cheekbone. He's just coming back, and then that happened. And that is just pretty unlucky, isn't it? Stuff like that happened. I'll be interested to see how Moyes plays. I'm really looking forward to see what he goes with. How many of the new signings? I imagine Dewsbury Hall will start because he played against Roma. I imagine Grealish will probably be on the bench.
No, I think he'll start.
I think he'll start because I don't know what his pre-season's been like.
Well, he was raving about him the other day in training. He said he went like quite over the top about him, to be honest with you, saying that listening, he was talking about how he wants to come in he's got a World Cup season. And you were delighted to get him and all the usual sort of spiel he come out with. But he said that seen him in training and he just looks fantastic.
I think I'm just so used to Everton signing players and then not playing them for 3 weeks.
and him being the stereotypical manager that does that exact thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'd love to see him start. I think it's a statement if he starts as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like I don't want Everton to go there and sit all of our players behind the ball and wait to counter attack. Well, and the pace thing as well, still an issue. I think Moyes mentioned that as well.
But the thing we've got now, which we didn't necessarily have last season, is we've got a lot of players who can keep hold of the ball there. Players who are good on the ball. So, Alcaraz good on the ball. Asnu at left back, he's good on the ball as well. That was one of his sort of main things when he came through the Barcelona academy, he's played for Bayern Munich and then played in Spanish top division last season. So
you're not going to be shit to do that, are you?
No, exactly. Yeah. It's going to be hard for him because he's only 19 and coming into the Premier League is difficult. But I'm excited to see what he can do at left back because he's a player who can keep hold of the ball. Dewsbury Hall, we saw that. He's everywhere. He's good on the ball. Grealish good on the ball. Barry looks good on the ball. So we've got a lot of players there. James Garner, if he plays in midfield, he is. Garner Gay's been, in the last few years, he's got like really good on the ball. He's still prone to the odd little misplaced pass, but he's a lot better than he used to be. So we've got an opportunity here to sort of take control of the game with these players that we've got in. And it would be nice to see us do that, wouldn't it? For once, just go there and control it. Much like we did at Newcastle for large parts of the game, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with that. Completely agree with it. I think you need to make an intent and start the season with how you mean to go on with that. And I hope it's not being because it's Leeds, because it's the opening day season, because it's going to be bouncing there because they haven't been in the Premier League for a couple of years, and obviously want to stay up there. I don't want to. I would not like anybody to utter a word about that at our club. And we did prove the good thing about what you said there about Newcastle is it is similar in that way, going to a vociferous away side there. Who were favourites to win, by the way. We beat a side that were odds on to beat us there with the
and needed to win as well.
Well, that's it. The Champions League qualification on the line. Here, I know it doesn't work like this, but you go into a side there that probably, wow, let's have a look, like moving to a new house. You're looking around thinking, we're made up to be here. We made the right decision being able to come up here. Leeds will be, I would like to think that Leeds are going to be doing that sort of thing. I know they've got a manager who'll probably try and do the exact opposite. But squad-wise, I'd say at least 7, 8, well, I think that probably does ourselves a disservice. I think you've got at least 9, maybe even all of them, Les, who we would not swap for what they've got.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, Everton should go there and win. Having said that, I was doing a piece for one of the Leeds papers, and it said that Leeds are going to go and win 2-1. I'm doing that in more, just crying it in before it potentially goes and happens. But yeah, thinking about it more, we should go there and win. We really should. And you know me, I'm a misery, which I was told yesterday on Twitter about being miserable. So I'm going to go against that lad who said it to me and say we'll go there and batter these.
So before we just get into our score predictions then for this one, I've got some stats to look ahead to Leeds fixture because I love stats. So obviously everyone knows historically we've had a shocking record at Ellen Road until Rooney scored that winner in November 2002.
Not long after he burst onto the scene, was it?
Yeah, it was. It was pretty soon after. Sort of real statement of intent because we've not won there for 50 years.
Yeah, ridiculous side against them. I mean, but then again, Leeds have been quality a lot of that time, hadn't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's been times he's been out of the division. There's been times when he's been in the division, he's generally been pretty good. But even when we weren't that good, we struggled at Elland Road. But since then, we've not lost. So we've won 1 and drawn 3 of the 4 games we played. I know we've only played them 4 times in 20 years. But
I was just about to say we haven't really played them 4 times in 20 odd years, but we're unbeaten.
The only defeat we've had is a League Cup loss. We got beat 2-1 in 2012. But that's a pretty decent run we've got, albeit like 4 games in 20 years. And I read no club in the top flight this season. Everton, there's no club in the top flight this season that Everton have had a longer ongoing unbeaten away run against the Leeds, if you get that. So we've stayed unbeaten against Leeds longer than any club in the division.
But is that just because we've only played them 4 times?
It's 4 games we haven't been beaten. We always get beat away, don't we?
Hang on. That doesn't quite cut as a really decent start, does it? It's like saying that we've been unbeaten against a side in 50 years, but you've only played them once and it was a 0-0 draw. You can't say we've been unbeaten for that long, can you?
Unbeaten in the league at Elland Road for 20 years, mate.
There you go. To start that, mate. I'll put that on the wall of fame. Yeah.
Got it on the timeline. If we want to carry this on, though, we've got to get over the slow starts because we've not won an opening game since Benitez Southampton 3-1 in 2021. And as we know, the last few years we've written off August completely. And the last time we were away on the opening day was 2020 when Ancelotti's Everton went and won 1-0 with a goal from.
You've lost me there. You want me to toes there?
Calvert-Lewin.
Right, okay. There's come full circle. He can't play, by the way, can he?
I think so. Yeah, sure. They signed him on time.
It's not time. He's still crocked, isn't he?
No,
all I've heard is people telling me that he's not fit.
I think people are just saying that in general, but I'm sure he's fine to play.
That's changed my mind completely, Dad. If he can get on for 5 minutes off the bench, mate, it's just an absolute stinker anyway. So yeah, it's
What do you reckon then? Following all that, and bear in mind we've not been beat there for 20 years.
Well, at first, and certainly probably up to late last week, I've been petrified of this game because we simply still don't have enough players, and I still think that rings true. We need more players in. The manager says that. I think every single person in the fan base says that. Having said that, when you look at the 11 we can put out, we've got just about an 11. I think that is good enough to be better than last season. And with that in mind, we were fine last season when Moyes came in, so that points to me like we're going to go there and win this. I think defensively, they haven't got the best of attacks either. I think they're still crying Calvert-Lewin aside, whatever goes on with that. But their fans have been crying out in terms of getting strikers in and other attacking players because they haven't done that much business when you compare to what Sunderland have gone and done. I think their fans will have seen that Sunderland game, and thought, why didn't we go and do that? Yeah. And I think that you quieten the crowd down, and I hate to say it because it shouldn't have any impact whatsoever on a human being, but it does. I don't think we'll concede a goal. There you go. People can kick off on me about that, and when we come back after post-match, when we're doing that tonight, people will start ripping me apart when they come in and asking their questions. But we'll go there and win 2-0.
Sound right. I'm going to be the misery and say it's going to be 2-2 because I've said that all summer. As soon as the fixture came out, I thought 2-2 written all over it. I think it'll be like an opening day madness.
You take that though? Would you take 2-2?
Well, yeah, I think so because draw away when you're home is that old cliche. It would be nice to go there and win, and we probably should. But all things considered, I don't think 2-2 would be the end of the world. I'd like to just see us score goals as well. I think that's important tonight that we actually score, because I don't want to, given the way pre-season sort of went and we struggled to score from open play, it quickly becomes a stat, doesn't it? Oh, you've not scored from open play, you've not scored away from home, you've not scored at home. So I just want us to get those horrible little niggly stats out the way at the start. So,
well, I did want to ask before, but I think it's I think we're pretty much, it's bang on to happen, but it's going to be Beto that starts, isn't it, ahead of Barry?
I would imagine so, although he did start against Thingy, didn't he? Roma. So, Barry, so I don't know. I would imagine it'd be Beto, though.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we'd have seen more of Barry across the summer in the friendlies. I know we got him. I think he joined up with the club, but then did he join up there when they were in the States, didn't he? So,
yeah.
Them two stinkers we had against Blackburn and Accrington, he didn't play in either. I don't think, did we have him in that? I don't think we even had him signed in those games. So I'd like to have seen him have more under his belt, because it becomes a little bit more difficult for him to start games. But he might have ripped it apart. Jack Grealish might be his best mate now and was crossing them for fun. And when they're having a game and playing five-a-side, then he turns into Pele. You know, let's hope that's the case. But I think the safe option is to put Beto at the start.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he doesn't start. But the good thing is, like we said before, there's quite a lot of options going forward now, which is nice.
It is.
Not something we've been used to.
And it's funny to say that, given the fact we're all crying that we still need more players. So
yeah, we'll never be anyway. That's just how it goes, isn't it?
Exactly. That's it. You're never going to feel like. I think it's more now we're getting to the extent with players that on the right hand side. Obviously, that's the big issue that we're all talking about there. But everywhere else, now it's about getting a couple of players in each of those positions, because that's what good sides do. They have 2 players for every spot. That's a side of it. I think that is part of what we need to do before the window. But yeah, I think I'm vaguely confident that we go and do this, get 3 points on the board, and then obviously it's all attention turns to Hill Dickinson, not the Hill Dickinson, Dickinson.
Not Hill Dicko, not Hilly Dick.
No Bramley Moore. We've left Bramley Moore. We didn't even play a game at Bramley Moore. We're playing Hill Dickinson. And that comes against Brighton next week. So hope we're going there with a bit of momentum.
No, I know. I'm really looking forward to it anyway tonight. I can't wait. It's been, as I said at the start, it's been excruciating watching everyone else play and having to wait till Monday night. Let us know your thoughts.
At the end of last season as well. Do you not think? Normally summers go shorter and shorter between the seasons, but it feels like it's been an eternity since we last played. I don't know whether it's because we've left.
Yeah, I think it is it's a relatively. We kicked off earlier, haven't we? I think last season maybe kicked off the week earlier, so it does feel like it's been a little bit prolonged. But yeah, it's finally here, so hopefully we get to enjoy it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments or on Twitter or wherever, what you think the score is going to be tonight. This week there's no byline tomorrow, is because the lads did it on Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, they did it on Sunday because we've got post match because it's a Monday night. It cocks us up when there's a Monday night game. So when we get back to normal,
post match tonight.
That's right. Yeah, we're back with post match. So join us with that and start throwing your thoughts in on social after the game, and we'll go through it all in the post match. But yeah, things all go a bit ski wave, don't they, when we have a game on a Monday? So going forward, it's back to Saturday, Sunday. So the lineup of shows in the week's pretty much back to its usual places.
Yeah, and I'm going to be crabby because I'm not getting to bed before 11 o'clock tonight. But anyway, and then we'll have the weekly, subs weekly, weekend preview, mailbag, then post match, and then back to Blue Monday again. So yeah, it's all going on. So thanks to everyone for listening and watching. We'll be back later on with post match. But for now, that's been Blue Monday. Looking forward to Leeds, up the Toffees.